Okay, now we've moved up to third floor, and this is the floor that happens to be the most complete at this particular point. You get a chance to see what the color of the walls are on this floor, also a little bit more in terms of the individual offices, etc. Neal's going to talk about a little bit about what's going on in the atrium area here.
This is actually, we're standing in what will be a glass wall here, and this is a conference room. It's actually can be either one or two conference rooms. It has a wall that's movable, and all of the conference rooms, including the boardroom, which we'll see upstairs, are wired for computers, and they'll have flat screen TVs so that we can plug computers in for training purposes and audiovisual purposes. I guess that's about all here. And the rest of this floor is Uniserv. We'll walk back and look at the Uniserv area here in a minute.
If you pan around, Christy, before we go on, this is kind of the scenario on each of the last two floors, the mechanical room and then the restrooms down the hall there. But here you also get sort of a view of what the elevators will look like with their painting. And again, there's recessed lighting above for light purposes. Okay, we're still on third floor, and this is going to be Neal's new office. And across is going to be, I believe, a library area. And we'll take you around here and show you some of the Uniserv directors. We'll sort of pan those as we go along.
Another part of our trying to be green and more energy efficient is that all of the lighting is on sensors so that when you walk into a room, the lights will come on. And if there's no motion or activity in the room, the lights will go off automatically so that we hopefully will be way more energy efficient.
Actually, this area is a production area that all the staff will be able to use for when we do membership materials or other things that we send out. You can see it's quite long. If it's not quite long enough for a bowling alley, but it is a fairly large area, and it'll get used a lot because that production is one of our major things we do.
Another thing you might be able to see here if you look up into the ceiling is the new fire suppression system. We used to have actually hoses in this building back from 1962. Now we have automatic fire suppression sprinkler systems throughout the building. This is this entire floor actually is Uniserv offices. Every Uniserv director has an office, although they spend most of their time, as you know, in the field working with our members. And as we walk through the floor, you can get a feel for what this whole area looks like.
And this area behind us right here is an associate area, and then there will be other ones along here as we move down the hall, and you'll be able to see those. Traveling down the hall, and you can see the different Uniserv directors' offices, mostly on the outside. Here's another associates area. One of these is going to be some file cabinets and things, but that's pretty much it.
Another thing we could just mention here is we've completely redone our computer system, and we'll have centralized printers, actually multifunction devices that print, fax, copy, all those kinds of things. So they're strategically located, so instead of every person having a printer, we have one printer in an area to serve a number of offices, which is much more efficient way to do our printing.
Okay, we're on fourth floor, and here you're going to get the full effect of the windows all the way across the front of the building. And Neal's going to tell you about the offices here.
This office is collective bargaining and research, and then next to that office is where the collective bargaining and research staff associates would work. And as you pan around, you can see coming off the elevator, again, there'll be glass here to allow us to secure this area. And then as you get over to the side where Jess and I are standing, we're moving into our membership and business operations offices and workspaces. In the middle where you see this pile of stuff yet to be installed is also workspace for the business office operation. On every floor we have a server room like this. This is actually the one on fourth floor, but there's a fiber optic cable spine running throughout the building, and then our computer network comes out from that spine. And we have plenty of capability to expand as our computer needs expand and technology changes. This is an area that we call the cafe area, which will be the staff lounge, lunchroom area. Also, where you see the guys doing the texturing will be a kitchen, and we can surf through, as you'll look into the boardroom in a minute, we can surf through from that kitchen into the boardroom. So this is where we expect the staff to spend their time and stay connected. Since we're on 4 different floors, we have this one room as a central area for the staff.
This area, which has the kitchen availability with it, will also be used by various groups who come in and may want to use the boardroom. It'll also be used by our board of directors and other meetings that we have in the building, including in the board area or the conference room. So this will be a pretty important area. And these guys are called mudders, and there are no fathers. One of the additional benefits of this particular room and the whole building, actually, is that we'll be able to have a lot more of our meetings where members come in to meet for committee meetings or for other local associations, et cetera, to have functions in this particular building. And the open window behind me, of course, goes into the cafeteria area, so they'll have access to the kitchen. This boardroom, plus the other conference rooms, will allow us also to have a lot more meetings on days when we have board meetings here. One of the things we've had trouble with in the past is the fact that we didn't have enough meeting space. This will provide us a lot of meeting space. Again, when we have the Government Relations Commission, for instance, come in, they'll be able to meet in this room as well. Okay.
This is the boardroom, and among other things, we believe that we have a good location here that we'll be able to rent out to people doing fundraisers, especially lobbyists during the legislative session. And so we're hoping that we'll be able to turn this into a revenue stream for the association by renting this room out for political functions. It certainly is an ideal location for that sort of thing.
The boardroom is much larger than obviously than the boardrooms we had before. It will allow for various configurations. We actually can have roundtable meetings in here, cocktail meetings in here, but also the board established will be sort of a square pattern. There is all the electrical things that are needed in the floor so that board members and whoever else is working will be able to attach into the power grid and also the internet and those type of things. As we get closer, you can see the nice effect that we have in the boardroom with the glass windows and being able to see the Capitol. On the 4th floor, if it's close to the windows, you'll be able to see all of the Capitol. And this is really one of the selling points for this particular room, why we wanted this room to have all this glass. And so it's really a great view of the Capitol building and the grounds. And it'll be a great room for us to have our meetings and for other groups to have meetings here as well, as Neal's already pointed out. Okay, we're approaching the end of our tour, and of course we're standing on the lawn of the Capitol. We're panning around to see the Capitol, and you're going to see again, for those of you who've never been to our building, how close we are to the Capitol. In fact, we're right across the street. And you can get the full effect of the new glass in the front of the building. And again, you can kind of see just how the general scenario is set up in front of the building here.
We're actually filming this the Friday of the week before the delegate assembly. And as of today, this building is 79% completed. We have a projected move-in date of July 17th. So that's what we're planning on, moving from our temporary building back over here in July. And once we get back and settled in, we have plans to have an open house so our members can come in and see their building. And then we will also have a separate open house for potential customers that might want to use that boardroom on the 4th floor for events.
I want to thank Karen Kilgaren and Christy Kabik, who have done the filming and directing here. And I also want to thank Bob for his work. And we'll move on with the delegate assembly from this point.